mountainous river valley in Central America, nature has run its mighty course for millions of years. Some of the rarest, most beautiful animals that roam the earth call Belize home. But they are not always alone. Two Belizean conservationists team up in a race against time to save this fragile land.
We have two young scarlet macaque in the hole here. They are really pissed off.
Now plans are going forward to build a controversial power dam that threatens to flood this corner of paradise.
We're underwater right now. I mean, we're at the bottom of the reservoir. It's 100 feet above our heads if it happens.
From up above, it is clear that the dam could spell the end of the world for the rare animals that flourish here. Located on the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize is a sanctuary for these extraordinary creatures. But this land is under siege, and conservationists in Belize struggle to save a place they call paradise. A river runs through it. So remote, so little studied, the twisting Raspaculo winds down the lush mountains of Belize. Greg Show is a naturalist by trade and a Maya by heritage. He enters a distant valley once inhabited by his ancestors. Traveling on this river requires endurance and one or two tricks of the trade. The other half of the team is Sharon Matola, one of the leading conservationists in Belize. She and Greg work full-time to document why this place is crucial to their nation's future.
What makes the Raspaculo River Valley so special? Number one, it's extremely remote. It's the only place in Central America where these rare species live in an unmolested habitat. The tapir we see, the scarlet macaque that we see, they are living just as they lived hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of years ago. And that's very special.
Few places are left where the rare scarlet macaque can breed. This is one, which is why building a dam on this part of the river has raised alarms. At the first sight of the hard-to-find macaques, Sharon and Greg search out a spot to set up base camp. Working as a biologist in the field calls for skills that go beyond the classroom.
A man can outwalk, outrun, outcarry anybody in the world. He climbs the trees and does nest observations. He's the one that's found the nests. Greg was trained by a professional parrot biologist and has taken her work forward steps beyond probably what she thought was even possible. Much of the information and the data, the new data, the really exciting stuff that we've discovered, I owe that to Greg.
Rather than lugging tons of cargo for the long expedition, they live off the richness of the land. For dinner, Greg collects a river snail. Known in Belize as hootes, they were his first lesson in ecology. Learned at his mother's knee.
And she told me, just collect the big ones, don't leave the small ones, because the small ones will get bigger, you know, so one day we can come back and collect some more.
A full boot equals dinner. All the ingredients are provided by the winding Raspaculo, including the wild greens. The tip of the snail's shell is broken off. Eating it is like sucking on a straw. At least for some.
Okay, so you grab the operculum, you gently tease it out because you want to see what you're eating. See, it's very appetizing looking. There it is. great protein.
Once these fabulous birds were considered great protein and were widely hunted. Now just a few hundred are left here, and Sharon and Greg have little time to learn their ways.
Watching them, you can't help but become so enamored by their natural history. The males and the females bond for life. The type of care they give to one another, you can't help but be moved by it. I mean, it's the kind of thing that we take marriage vows for, you know. They love and honor each other. The male takes care of the female when she's on her nest. They preen each other, they feed each other. He watches out for her when she can't fly and get her own food. They share the responsibility of seeing the young out of the nest. It's devotion in such a sophisticated degree. You can't help but be impressed by it.
A pair could live together for 60 years or more. Greg and Sharon want to learn how the birds use that time and what draws them to the remote region. After years of tracking through the mountains, Greg and Sharon discover that the birds court here. It's their nesting ground. This is where it all begins for one of the rarest macaws in the world. Macaws are cautious and secretive, but Greg has learned to read their signs.
Just raise their wing like this, and that's the way that they have a territorial right here. Maybe they have a nest somewhere around here. As they have something around there, maybe food or nest.
Finding the nests. It's the first step in decoding the macaw's secrets. Greg watches for them in quamwood trees, big trees with nesting holes high off the ground.
Right now I'm going to see where he go. And she dove down, straight into the quamwood. And I start to follow the direction. I cut my trail way to the tree that I saw.
When Greg finally reaches what he thinks may be their home, he knocks first.
Bam, 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 like that with the machete. And I see her, she pop out. Yeah. She started to look around like this. I say, right.
Each nest is inspected. A thin line is fired over a high branch with a slingshot. At least that's the plan. They rope up 100 feet. Their purpose is to census the nest for eggs, for hatchlings, and hopefully to find young birds ready for flight. Scarlet macaws are wary. They never fly down to the water where predators lurk. Instead, they search out an all-purpose tree.
The very tree we're in is an important tree for scarlet macaws. When it's in seed, they eat the unripe seeds of this. This is a quamwood. These are also called drinking trees. So they're feeding trees, nesting trees, and drinking trees right here in the river valley. That's what makes it so appealing to these birds.
They're beautiful. They only have hair on their wing, feathers on their wing then. On their back, it's just like, I have no hair yet. Bye, macaw. See you next time when I come back.
There's little Greg can do for now. He will return in 4 weeks to check on the fate of the chicks.
I love this. This is so great.
Look how high is this nest. It's not very high, just like about maybe 13 meters or 14 meters if that high. If they flood this area, this nest is going to go underwater. So I'm so sad when I heard about that.
The greatest threat to the macaw is loss of habitat. Here, they safely mate and raise their young. The Raspaculo Valley is a sanctuary for many creatures, some endangered. Greg and Sharon are in a race against time, a race to record what is here, and what may be lost. The Raspaculo River Valley is a land of milk and honey. Some of the rarest and oldest creatures in the New World thrive here.
Now this is the adult truck here, the three toes, and these three small ones, the baby tapir truck. Tapir then like stay by the river like this, especially like if they have a vegetation like this, young vegetation, the tapir feed on those plants, you know.
The national animal of Belize is elusive. For now, these tapirs are endangered. But here in this valley, they live in harmony. These 650-pound mammals are kissing cousins to the horse and the rhinoceros.
They get really hot in the day when they are traveling or when they are feeding, so they come in the water and sit, cool off.
Seeing tapirs in the wild is rare, except for here.
I've been coming out here for 8 years looking at Central American tapir activity and trying to figure out their relationship with this forest and adding to the relative paucity of information that's out there on tapirs. The Raspaculo River Valley is an absolute haven for these endangered species, and that's due to an abundance of its favorite food. It's an all-you-can-eat situation for these animals. The animals are flourishing as they did thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago.
This is one of the last strongholds for the tapir, and Sharon monitors their lives very closely.
This tapir probably 8 kilometers away and then defecated down here. You can see here, there's some little plants sprouting up, and I think this is exciting because I picked up so much of this crap, is that they're definitely playing some role in seed dispersal here in this area.
The large, mysterious animal is rarely seen by the people of Belize. Sharon Matola started a zoo to change that. An orphaned female named April has become something of a celebrity.
Kids love April. She's done a lot to educate people in Belize. First of all, that she represents an endangered species and that they're gentle herbivores. We celebrate her birthday every year, and it's a time when kids can come out and learn even more about their national animal. Is everybody ready to see April eat her birthday cake? Traditionally, we have this huge cake made out of horse chow and carrots and covered in hibiscus flowers, and the kids absolutely love it.
The zoo's birthday wish is no secret. They hope these rare creatures will bring visitors to Belize.
Belize has a growing nature tourism-based economy, and it's one of the few places you can go in Central America, in the villages down south, where they gregariously feed and see the birds. You can actually see the birds in the wild.
Macaws need a lot of territory to survive. Far west from the Raspaculo, across the central mountain chain, lies the town of Red Bank. The birds were once hunted mercilessly here. Now they attract tourists, and the whole village benefits.
Tell them more about us, for we are the biggest and the most beautiful parrots in the world. But there's much, much more to learn from us. Just wait and see.
These strange birds are visitors from the zoo. The demonstrations they put on show that these splendid creatures may be the future of Belize. The town has built a hotel for tourists, and there are guides to point out the colorful birds. Red Bank is a gourmet buffet for scarlet macaws. One-stop shopping on the fly. Almost 3 feet from head to tail, these are big birds. The 30-mile trip from the Raspaculo over to Red Bank is an easy hop for them. They pick up food for the whole family. Then they navigate back over the Maya Mountains, back to the Raspaculo. What takes the big birds a matter of hours requires days of hard river travel for Greg and Sharon.
What we call them, spider monkey. They make a little sound like almost like a human.
And they also behave like humans. Monkey see, monkey do. Weeks out in the bush take a heavy toll. But it's the small insults that tax the spirit.
Well, I was awakened by a colony of biting ants. I don't even know the species. They're the meanest ants we have out here. Big ones, little ones. Workers, soldiers. They just decided I was it. But good to know that biodiversity is alive and kicking out here in the Raspaculo.
It's a small one here.
If the ants don't get you, the ticks will.
They're scratching, you know, sometimes like it take a long time for it to get healed, you know.
It's not the easiest environment to work in. It looks pretty on the slides when I show people. But you know what? It's worth it. You get up to this point in the hills and you put your binoculars on those macaws, and God, you see incredible behavior that you realize that maybe you're one person out of 1,000. You see the most amazing sights.
But this paradise has both predators and victims, like this one. Despite skin nearly an inch thick, this tapir has been badly mauled. Only a jaguar could do that. The big cat may be near, waiting for it to die. Out here, someone is always someone else's dinner. Precious nests are threatened by swift-flying ornate hawk eagles and boa constrictors 15 feet long. Anxiously, Greg returns to the nest where he found the fragile young macaws. Survival is always a question. Any day now, these youngsters will fledge.
They're really pissed off. We have to protect them. We have to because they want to live just like we. The same way, I think, with the tapir too. They want to be here.
A baby tapir calls forlornly to its mother, but she won't be coming.
I see a tapir, a dead tapir, it's just fresh killed, you know. Something hit it. But definitely it's a jaguar because there's nothing else can kill a tapir. Actually, we heard the jaguar. It goes like this, kind of farther up the river. We were sitting there waiting for the jaguar, and all of a sudden I see something's swimming down, and I take a good look at it and I see a crocodile.
A close cousin of the American croc, The Morlet's crocodile is only found in the Yucatan. It is considered endangered, just like the tapir, which was killed by a jaguar, yet another endangered creature of the Raspaculo. Further down the food chain, the king vulture awaits its turn. Even if peccaries had good eyesight, they might miss the well-camouflaged jaguar. Bad luck for one peccary. Good luck for the hungry jaguar. To the Mayas, this close relative of the leopard was a deity, a source of magical powers. This is Greg's heritage. He and his family live to the east of the Raspaculo. Home is at the gateway to the first and only jaguar park in the world, the Coxcomb Basin Wildlife Reserve. Greg's work takes him away from his family for weeks at a time.
I do enjoy going into the forest because when I go into the forest, I learn more and I see more. I see more beautiful things into the wild.
But Greg doesn't have to wander far beyond his own backyard to explore nature's wonders. After a rain, the forest teems with frogs. Recently, declining populations of these amphibians have alarmed scientists. Greg monitors the health of his neighbors, looking for signs of trouble in this magical kingdom. Males ride the backs of females and fertilize the eggs as they are laid. Tadpoles ripen on leaves and hatch directly into ponds. The Raspaculo keeps its secrets well hidden, as Greg learned by accident, following the macaws deep into the jungle.
I was like sitting by the river. I saw like 3 macaws, they're sitting on the tree. So I start to walk around the ceiba tree, and I find like a stone like this, they line up. So I start to follow the rocks where they go, you know. So when I get to the top there, I see the first mine ruin there.
Another clue was the fresh stream that flowed from a Maya ceremonial mound. Greg suspected that the archaeological site he discovered might be an important find.
Then I came in here and I see this plaza here. Then I see this one here again, and I come to the top, I see another plaza to the back.
The Raspaculo has been largely untouched since the Spanish conquest of the Mayas 500 years ago. Greg brought in Sharon and archaeologist Keith Proofer, a specialist on the Maya, from Southern Illinois University.
Wow, it's pretty big stuff, man.
Greg was right. It's a significant site here, huh?
Definitely, absolutely. The way it was constructed.
What are we looking at?
Well, we're standing in a small plaza. We're surrounded by one large, long building and 2 smaller buildings to the sides.
Rediscovered after 500 years, the ancient Maya site is in danger of being lost to the dam.
I said if they flood this, all of them, they will be gone. I mean, if they're going to go 100 feet, it's going to be like about 60 feet underwater.
Nests like these would also be victims.
Yeah, they're fledged already, man.
The young macaws have left their nest. But these long-lived birds are on a collision course with the future. They may fly, but they may not flee. Like the other creatures here, their destiny depends on a place called the Raspaculo Valley, a paradise in peril.